Welcome back to everybody's favorite podcast, the Hyperdrive Hour. Yeah, I can't say
Can
that
everybody
seriously.
hear you this time?
Yes, I've already checked. That was a
Good.
fun time. Going through and recording it. Uh, today we have the Ghost of Justice present here, as opposed to what was I? I think in the recording I called myself Justice Future. um, Yeah, Sonata, say your name, state your social security number, your address, and
Date of birth.
driver's license number. Yeah,
I'm going to do one of those things. Hello, my
social
name is
security
Sonata.
number. Damn
So it's 4.
it.
What did you like to know?
Marin,
I
you're
would.
next. You're next. Speak.
Howdy. My name is Marin, also known as Sick Dr. Art on all socials. You will not have my social security number. I don't even remember it.
Hi,
Yeah, I think I know
I'm
who's
Donovan.
last.
My social
Yeah.
security number is 000000000. I live at XXXXX blah 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 blah. Fuck you,
Okay.
you're not getting that from me. But you can get my social security number.
We're talking about Ahsoka. What episodes are we talking? What number are they? Is it 6 and 7?
This
6
is
and 7, far,
Six
far
and
away,
7.
and they finally
Dreams
got
and
back to the...
Nightmares or something like that.
Yeah, they finally went back to the original naming convention of something and something. Of the first 2 episodes. I thought they were setting a precedent, and then they weren't, and it made me sad.
The
No,
summary.
Dreams and Madness is 7.
Yeah.
My very detailed summary is there's a blue guy.
Yeah.
The
Whoa,
blue
it's
guy
the blue
showed
guy.
up.
And whoa, it's the kid with blue eyes.
And whoa, it's biblically accurate, Jesus.
The bluest of eyes, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go really overkill with the color contacts. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's a combination of colored contacts and them enhancing them digitally. I could be wrong,
feel
but
like-
I think that's what the case is.
I feel like there's no need to do that.
I feel like you don't even need to do the color contacts. Well, it's Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans might
Yeah.
bitch for no fucking
Star Wars
reason.
fans are gonna be mad either way. We're mad about it one way, another person's gonna be mad about it another way, so...
I'm not mad. I do find it a little
We are
unnerving.
talking about it. We are actively bringing up the fact that we do not like the way that his eyes look because they are too saturated. They just look odd.
So
Sure.
let us begin with 5.
5.
6.
6, yeah.
We already talked about 5, bozo.
Far, far away.
Night Sisters, new origin story, retcon to the old one that had remnants ported over thanks to the Fantasy Flight source books, I believe is why any of the information on them was canon. They got a makeover.
What
Thrawn
was
met some Night
the...
Sisters.
Yeah. What was the makeover? Because I didn't know the previous Night Sister lore.
Well, it's some like Jedi left the Order and went, and she just fucked off to Dathomir and founded cults of magickers.
That was the Legends explanation. Bits and pieces of that were canonized by the supplement books.
FFG. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Thrawn.
It's between
Thrawn found some
FFG and
witches.
the West End Games D6 system.
Yeah.
And Saga Edition probably had some too.
I knew that there was something that popped up where I was like, that wasn't there before. I just couldn't remember what it was.
There's a cool stormtrooper with the Roman
Yeah.
mask.
Enoch. Okay, I know that we were kind of making fun of his name, but I think I'm kind of digging it now.
Nah, so when I heard the casting announcement of like this guy, he's playing like Thrawn's right hand man. I was expecting like an officer. And if it was just gonna be a
Yeah.
dude standing around in an Imperial officer uniform, it's lame as shit. Nah, seeing him in the armor, he's pretty
yeah.
cool. Nice voice modulation.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like all the stormtrooper designs that you see aboard the Chimera. Um, we see the Chimera. That
Yeah, they're
happens in the
called
episode.
night troopers, I think.
Yep.
Instead.
Yep,
As
that's what the
per the
captions calls them.
subtitles. Yeah.
We might also want to address later address the theories about them, about
Oh,
the
yeah.
night troopers.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
like 90% of them are dead. I mean, I'm not recapping the episode. I'm kind of just bouncing around from what I remember.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're
them
all
being
No,
dead.
but, like-
them being wrapped up in Night Sister red fabric, plus the use of I forget what it's called, but it's like a fairly traditional Japanese way of mending broken porcelain and whatnot by filling
Oh,
the cracks
yes.
with gold.
Yes. Let me look up what that's called.
It's a if they are dead and resurrected, that's a pretty damn good visual way of showing it. But at the same time, we saw them die later, and I'm not convinced they didn't respond the way you would expect a Night Sister zombie to respond.
Well, maybe not
It's
all of
called
them are dead.
Kitsugi.
Yeah, there's a possibility that there is a combination of dead and living troopers.
That's
Thrawn,
probably
Thrawn
what it
did
is.
say their numbers dwindled, so that makes sense. And then you have like Marak wasn't shown for no reason. He wasn't
Yeah.
killed for no reason.
Even though
I don't know, he might have been.
I-
We'll find out.
I have
Well-
issues with the way that they dealt with him, but whatever.
But I think we have an episode before we can concretely say like, oh yeah, Marak was because Marak's just a setup for like, yeah, hey look, they love reanimating their men to fight. Although it might be interesting. What else? The night
One of
troopers
the-
exist.
Yeah, I really like the design of the night troopers. Who likes the discount Loth Wolves?
Oh, the Howlers?
Yeah, the Howlers.
The horse dogs?
That's literally exactly how I would have imagined a live action Loth Wolf, except for I would have made the nose an ever so slightly more voluminous shape rather than it being so flat. But those motherfuckers are just Loth Wolves. I mean,
think
look,
they are cool
Whoa.
design. I also like how loyal they are.
I know
lack
they're
of a
so
better term.
cute. I love them.
Horsemond.
We also got to see the middle-aged mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They're so tiny.
They're so little. They're so cute. I love them.
They're also like next to useless in a fight. That's the next
Oh,
episode.
yeah, of
they
course.
are.
They're pacifists or whatever.
They are peaceful, as
Yeah.
our good boy says.
He's a
Yeah,
good boy.
um,
I'm actually really pleased with this actor. I had not seen this actor in anything previously, although I was told afterwards that he actually played Aladdin in a live action.
mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did.
yeah, him, yeah.
I didn't know that, but I think he's done pretty well. I feel like he gets Ezra's characterization really well.
Yeah, no, for the little bit that we see him in episode 6 especially, I
Yeah.
feel like it really felt like, seeing the Rebels character on screen. I
was
feel
happy.
like I don't have a lot to say about episode 6. Like, I enjoyed it. It pushed the plot forward. Thrawn had a really cool entrance.
Yeah.
There's
God.
not a lot to say about it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is solid. It is well put together. The story
Means-
beats are very well paced for once.
God,
means
the visual
There's not much
of
to complain about.
the visual of the bridge just appearing over that monument in that
Yeah.
moment was like, oh fuck.
When
I was
Yeah,
so
when I-
happy we actually got to see like the symbol of the chimera on
when I-
the underbelly as well.
Yeah, when I was watching that scene, as I was watching it with somebody else, I made the comment that whoever was fucking flying that thing in that moment needed a raise for putting the fucking hanger over the monument, because like
Oh yeah.
that's not easy to do. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
say that like
no,
I know what
that-
it's like to fly a fucking
I mean, yeah,
spaceship. but-
docking a spaceship with Minas Tirith, definitely that's difficult. Am I wrong? I made
Not
I made the
particularly.
same
No.
Yeah.
I made the same comment to Justice.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But-
I'm trying to think.
No, yeah, I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I was actually very content with the episode. I didn't have any complaints really.
Definitely one of the stronger episodes.
Yeah. I am proud to call this one a Star Wars episode. That was a
Certainly, a
Star
Yeah.
Wars with the War Star.
I'd say
Certainly a War of the Stars.
Thrawn
Yes.
shows up, and he shows up big. Yeah, he feels like Thrawn.
Yes. But also,
Uh,
both of us were wrong in the way that we thought Thrawn was going to be introduced. Thrawn and Ezra.
I mean,
So-
mine was definitely like a pessimistic, like, oh, dude, with the rate this show's going, watch how they're gonna do this. But no, I am happy to
Yeah.
be pleasantly surprised that he actually has
Me
screen
too.
time.
Me too.
I
I'm
will.
glad to see our boy.
I will make a quick confession.
Mm.
I had to like it was implied during the last episode, but I had to hold my tongue a lot last episode because I knew from a leak that supposedly Thrawn and Ezra would make their first appearance in number 6. I just wasn't
Oh.
sure if it was right or not.
Hey,
And
guys,
that's
I
why
think it
I
was
was so
right.
silent. Yeah. I'm glad that leak was right, and I just want to say that Lars Mikkelsen killed the role.
He's
Oh
he-
yes.
yeah.
I mean, he killed it in Rebels. He's killing it here. He's got the right cadence. He's got the right feel, and
I
that's
told
Yeah.
he's an
important.
excellent actor, and he has a great physicality to him as well. Or I guess with Ron, an almost lack of physicality. His
Yeah.
posture is just the same in every scene, and it's perfect.
Yeah, it's the way he carries himself is almost a perfect copy of how Thrawn carried himself in Rebels.
Yeah.
I'd say I think there's only
And I've
one
shit-
time. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I've shit on them before, but in this case, I'm going to compliment them. Kudos to the costuming department.
Oh yeah.
He looks almost identical to his portrayal in Rebels, but so much more realistic.
Hmm.
And his suit
He
has
doesn't-
like little tears and stuff.
Yeah,
Because
And
he
stains.
looks
Yeah.
like he has not been able to fix his uniform for ages. Those stupid like head crest plates on his forehead that Rebels had have been smoothed out so they look just like ridges on his forehead instead of
Yeah.
fucking dinner plates above his eyes. And like the hairline, the hair, it looks natural. It's the shots from the trailers did not do him justice.
100%.
I
They
mean,
did not.
he does look a little like Elon Musk. It was pointed
Well,
out,
I mean,
when the
yeah.
trailers
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
I'm not
I can't
denying that.
unsee it, but he looks good. Otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
it's just you happen to slap him in the blue makeup and the black hair. He kind of looks like blue Elon Musk. It's unfortunate, but hey.
But it's our good boy Mithron Naruto.
Mithron Nuruodo, actually.
Well, sorry, it's been a
Pronounce
while
his
since I've
name
read his
correctly.
full name. My sincerest apologies.
Marin's out here like cutting half the syllables out of his name.
It's a long. Hey, if Anakin Skywalker can't say it, then I'm okay.
I don't know. In the book, he said he spelled it the same way.
How would you feel if I called you by Mern all the time?
It's okay. I've already got somebody else who just refuses to say my name correctly. I've given up at this point. But yeah, I think Lars Mikkelsen fucking kills it. Um,
If I could gripe about anything, it's that I'm not the biggest fan of Night Sisters being from a whole other galaxy. Because I'm trying to think of the
Mm.
logistics of it here.
Did they
The
ride the space
Purgle,
whales?
the Purgle come to that galaxy to die. So they
Oh.
die. And then they travel. They
Maybe it's like
somehow
how
with-
salmon spawn.
no, but no. Maybe, but they somehow then tame the dying whales and come back, quote unquote, before time was kept. But they actually, that's my biggest flaw right there. They somehow mastered technology to get into space to ride giant space whales to another galaxy without figuring out how to make a clock?
I've had time to think it over and to just rub it through my brain, and I don't side with Donovan on many things, but I think I'm gonna have to side with them here. I am not a fan of this new backstory.
Like, I don't hate it. I just think it could use a bit more. Like, sure, if
Thought.
it's like a salmon thing, where it's like they come over here, they fuck, they die, they and then their babies were tamed and go back over. Yeah, sure, 100%. We just don't have any evidence of that. And then the exact phrasing from the Night Sister leaders probably could be just hyperbole, them playing themselves up for Thrawn.
I'm almost well. It's just because
Uh,
they're fucking
It could be Star
weird
Wars
ass
being
witches.
Star
They
Wars.
speak cryptically.
And like I said, it could also just be Star Wars being Star Wars.
Hmm.
It's not overall a big flaw, but the logistics of the thing, right?
Hmm.
To strap on the hat of Devil's Advocate, Star Wars doesn't always pay attention to the logistics of things. To be
No,
fair.
yeah, that's kind of what
Part
I'm
of
saying. It could
that's
just be
part of it
Star Wars
being
being
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
My thing is like, it doesn't necessarily surprise me that that technology was lost just because of how much technology we have lost. But there are definitely some things where I'm like,
It does raise an
Fucking figured out
interesting
space travel before clocks. Jesus fucking Christ.
it does raise an interesting question as to like, okay, in Legends, and this may be the case in canon as well, I'm not entirely sure, but in Legends, from what I'm aware of, the Duros were the first ones to develop a hyperdrive. That's correct, right?
That is, I believe, false because the Rakata existed before the Duros.
That's true.
But I could be mistaken. But the Duros were definitely the first modern species in Legends, I believe.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think
yeah.
canon's tweaked that, but I could be mistaken.
So, I'm interested to see if hyperspace technology was lost before and then rediscovered, who originally discovered it.
As of Legends, it's the Rakata. Canon.
It's me.
you invented a hybrid.
Well, they need to find some way to get around your mom.
Oof. No, my mom is what they use to travel between the galaxies.
Your mom's a
mom
space
is-
whale?
Yeah.
Space whales. Yeah, overall good episode.
Ah. Corellians
Uh,
and the Duros developed it independently around the same time in canon.
Yeah,
Okay,
Corellians would.
That tracks a bit. Because Corellians are like the ship bloods of the galaxy.
Yeah. I think the only gripe that I have with the episode, I didn't know Night Sister lore beforehand, but I knew that was like different. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sabine's actress gets a lot right, but she just has the classic Star Wars overacting habit, which is unfortunate, but that's just how Star Wars is in general, kind of.
Unfortunately, yeah. I think overall my thoughts for episode 6 just fall under holy fuck, we got the Chimera and Thrawn in live action. They killed both for the most part in how they were portrayed.
Oh yeah.
It makes me sad to see that, it makes sense that she wouldn't be in good shape. I'm still sad to see the Chimera in the shape she's in.
Aw, poor
Aw.
Thrawn simp.
What have they done to that poor girl?
I mean, to be fair, they'd patched it up pretty decently. It, like the stormtroopers, also sported a whole lot of gold patching its cracks.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can tell they put some effort into fixing it, which makes sense. But besides those 2 points, I'll admit, end of episode 6, I wasn't entirely feeling Ezra in the moment. Though to be fair, we got very little time with him, if any at all. Shall we move on to 7?
Yeah, I guess.
7?
Yeah.
7, I felt like we were watching Ezra. If only because of that one scene of you want us as prisoners. You want us as prisoners, right? We're important.
Ezra's so cute. Oh my goodness. He's so precious.
That felt like Ezra.
Oh, yeah,
He's just
that
a little
definitely-
lad. That was so cute. I love Ezra on his dope monk shit arc. That's so. I like that a lot. And he's like, nah, I don't need it.
As Sonata told Justice, and Justice told me, man's out here taking the fucking Steel Hand Adept tree.
Yeah.
My personal theory is that it's just been so long since Ezra has had to use a lightsaber that he just doesn't know how anymore.
I mean, that's possible, certainly.
He's not confident he won't cut his own arms off if he tries.
Exactly.
I love the exchange between him and Sabine in the moment as well. No, I gave it to you. It's yours. The Force is my ally.
She's like, take it, you fucking.
I got a
dumbass."
kick out of the fact that she offers him a gun. He doesn't take it, and then he just takes a fucking gun later in the
He
episode
takes
anyways.
a different one.
Yeah,
Takes
he
one of
just grabs
the-
the fucking E5.
What's the stormtrooper gun?
No,
the
not
E11
E5.
or the
E11.
E11? Ha ha ha! I'm getting better.
You missed it by 6 numbers.
Yes, I did.
But yeah, I enjoyed this episode as well.
As did I.
Get Soker Boker back. Hu Yang.
We got to see a little bit more of Anakin giving some advice.
Yeah. Oh, and we got Thrawn recognizing Anakin's name. I'm so happy for that. They could have just. I
Well,
mean, I know that's
I-
a big deal, but
yeah,
still,
we
I
can
was
talk
scared.
about it. We can talk about
We're
it.
talking about it.
I think this retroactively makes Thrawn look like a fucking moron, actually.
Really?
So, Ahsoka has never name dropped to Thrawn in alliances. Alliances is what I was grabbing before we started to double check that. However, there is mention of a Togruta, of the Marg Sable as a Togruta flower. He spent a lot of time with Anakin. I refuse to believe that Thrawn couldn't put 2 and 2 together when researching the Phoenix cell in Rebels. He couldn't put it together that the fulcrum they were working with was Anakin Skywalker's former apprentice. Thrawn, it almost feels like Dave Filoni knows what Thrawn Alliances is about, but hasn't actually read it. That's what I took away from that exchange.
feel like that's just been most of current canon.
Yeah, no,
Dave
Filoni's
Filoni
not
thinks he
good.
knows what it's about,
Yeah.
and makes up his own shit because he hasn't actually read what it. Yeah, that checks out.
Because
Yep.
it'd be like one thing if it was an offhand mention. It's Thrawn. It's one of Thrawn's
Yeah.
best battle tactics, invented by Ahsoka.
He knows that she is alive. Why would he have not studied her?
I mean, it's not even because there's plenty of information about Fulcrum, and I think that Thrawn would have been able to access the information. I think on maybe the Inquisitorius encounters with Ahsoka and Kanan and Ezra. Um, that's stuff that a Grand Admiral probably would be able to look into a little bit just to know what they're dealing with. Because she wasn't dead. She makes it. I mean, I don't think Vader is like. I can't imagine Vader is being sold on her being dead after the end of Rebels Season 2. So I feel like to just kind of count her out and have none of the Imperials think about Fulcrum again, or Thrawn not know of her, feels really dumb. And it makes him stupid for not knowing when he's been directly told that Anakin has had an apprentice. Because it's clear that Thrawn's had some, high level access of pre-imperial military records. He acknowledges Balin in the last episode as General Balin Skull.
Yep.
So it's Ahsoka's kind of a big deal, and to not know about her seems really dumb, and that really bugged me.
Specifically, it's in his position. To be clear, we don't expect every random mook in the story to know and understand who Ahsoka is. We don't expect the stormtroopers to know and understand Ahsoka. We just expect the person whose entire fighting style is know thy enemy to have researched his enemy.
Yeah, that's why I feel like because in they made mention of it in episode 6, and I was like, all right, well, him asking who her master was and everything seems kind of dumb, but okay, I'll play it off. And then they doubled back on the mention here, and that to have Thrawn know Anakin but not know who Ahsoka is like, okay, so you know what the book's about. You've looked at the cover of the book, but you don't.
Also, other gripe I have with that scene: the strategy he comes up with to deal with Ahsoka should be the same strategy he uses for everybody.
Yeah.
There is very little that could go wrong with that strategy.
Accurate.
I do not understand why he seems to think that is a special strategy. Yes, you want to control where your opponent can go, what they're going to be doing, so you can predict how best to counter any one specific move they may or may not make.
Congrats, Thrawn, you figured out warfare.
Congrats! You have figured out the art of war. Page 1.
Finally read Sun Tzu.
Page 1. Consider lying.
He had to go to a whole nother galaxy to get the pages of Sun Tzu.
That's why I was talking about, I feel like we got to witness Thrawn being pseudo-smart. Nothing was kind of, that smart about him, though. And that's, if you're not a genius, it is hard to write a genius master tactician, but, no, it's
clever.
To be fair, most writers would have had the big bad not bother to acknowledge, hey, we've only got 3 more pieces of cargo to load. We could just leave.
Yeah.
for basically any other villain, I feel like it would have been, you know what? Okay, we're gonna stay and fight. Glorious last stand before we leave. But
Yeah.
no, Thrawn's just like, killing them is not my objective, which
Happy
is
little bonus.
very appropriate for Thrawn.
hmm
However,
Can you not fight each other while you're in my lap? God, I really love my cats, but
Alright.
right now they're bugging me.
So that's Thrawn. Thrawn has cool hologram tables that are really cool and where the entire VFX budget for the episode went.
Pretty
Yeah.
much,
I think
yeah.
half the show's budget went to those fucking the holograms.
That hill Ahsoka jumped out of her ship onto was fucking schloobed up.
It was certainly something, wasn't it?
Would you mind just... Can you give a definition for schloob? Can I get it in a sentence?
Yeah, you got it in a sentence, dumbass.
You got it in a sentence.
A better
yeah.
one.
Your mom is
like when she jumped out of her ship at high speed onto that hill. When I think that was supposed to be a roll animation, it looked like it looked to me in the moment, even going back and rewinding a couple of times, like they just took the image asset of Ahsoka landing and just slid it across the hill instead of actually giving it a roll animation.
I'll have to watch it again. It's been...
And even then, it didn't move like you'd expect on a grassy hill. It moved like it was on like a bowling alley floor, where it just slid instead of, across a smooth surface instead of actually encountering the rough and the bumps of grassy hill.
You know what's crazy?
Also, Ezra getting force pushed by Hati into a flat object, into a circular, like spheroid object, but hitting a flat wall.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed this episode, but like I don't know why I'm feeling so nitpicky about the VFX, but they really took me out of it this episode. Just that and like the choreography.
Because it's fucking Star Wars. Its entire thing is being a spectacle, and they're getting it wrong.
I guess, yeah. It's like I think I would have loved that that little village fight if it was a little more visually like up to Star Wars standard. But
Pay
it's
your
like,
artists, please, God.
Yeah, I was
Well,
like,
with recent developments, there's a possibility they will do that from here on out.
no, they're only going to pay
they'll
the
need
people
to-
actively striking.
For those listening, we are filming the day after the Writers Guild of America strike is basically ended. They're sending things to a vote soon of the actual members.
Yeah.
Also, to be clear, we are a bunch of idiots talking and shooting the shit. We are not, in fact, a guild production.
No, we are not.
I'm a bounty hunter guild production.
Speaking of, today's episode is sponsored by the Nar Shaddaa Bounty Hunters Guild.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt, and Raid Shadow Legends.
Buy a Ridge wallet.
NordVPN.
I think the big thing I took away from this episode though is Balin's a really interesting character, and we have one episode to decide or to figure out what the fuck's going on with him because
Which is especially because, as we've brought up before, his actor, may he rest in peace, isn't with us anymore.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like as the show goes on, he's just more and more mysterious. We have one episode that better wrap that up. I say it's rare to when you do this, when you do a character where you want to like continually build like intrigue and mystique with them, mysteriousness, whatever words you wish to use, you have to be careful because like generally you should be learning things about the characters, like, and I guess maybe we've learned a little that's opened up into more questions, but mostly I feel like it's just more questions.
Yeah.
I feel like what they're doing is something that I'm guilty of doing when I run some long-term games, is that they're holding the cards too close to their chest narratively. They're not willing to reveal quite enough to keep people. I guess that's not the proper way of putting it. Like, I can't say to keep people engaged, but they're not providing enough clues to help people solve, or rather help people
Yeah.
answer questions they have.
Yeah.
Instead, they're just giving more questions, which isn't good.
Certainly not the ideal. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't really have much. I was just gonna, yeah, that's about right.
I say either they wrap it up nicely with a bow in the final episode, or
They just kill him.
or Balin's plot is kind of just gonna crash and burn somehow, because
Alright.
and they might be
So-
they might have been trying to build it up, and life happens, and that's what we're seeing, but
Actually, I
yeah.
think the problem here is that it doesn't always happen.
Okay. Well, death is a part of life, so thus life always happens.
I suppose.
And taxes.
Hmm.
Indeed.
All right. So let's say it, just a purely hypothetical question that I just thought up because why the fuck not?
Mhm.
Let's say nothing is wrapped up nicely with a bow. Character's left alive. He's still active and with the Empire. They would need to recast.
Mhm.
Who would be good?
I don't fucking know.
I don't think I know the answer to that question either. Because there are several things that, like, I don't want to say they'd be, like, required, but they would be required of, like, the actor portraying him.
The only person I think that I could see doing it is Richard Armitage, and he played Thorin Oakenshield in Hobbit movies. That's the only person I could realistically
okay.
see.
I've heard, like, I couldn't tell you names flat out, but I have heard some of the names attached to Game of Thrones thrown in as a potential recast.
Give me Charles
depend on-
Dance.
He actually was one of the suggestions.
Charles Dance.
He was who
I would love to see
popped
him
in.
as a different Star Wars villain.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could have him. I think he would be a suitable replacement to resume like this older, knightly, very, strong and regal character. There's just
Gives
a
me
lot
different
of
vibe
visual.
though.
Yeah, it's
'Cause,
not gonna be perfect. That's the thing.
In my general like gist of, like, Charles Dance comes off as, he's got that regalness, that nobility, but it's like a cruel regalness and nobility. Because
Yeah,
that's the
Balin's is-
type of acts I've seen him in.
Yeah, he's
Balin's
more
is
measured.
cold. He's cold and measured, but he's not. He doesn't give off like the feeling of cruelty.
If we want to go with, if we want to continue our obligatory Game of Thrones reference, either Ian Glenn, who played Jorah Mormont, or the guy who played Bear Mormont, Jor Mormont. I think either of them might be able to.
I don't remember who played the old bear.
So that's one. Actually, no, it's two obligatory Game of Thrones references.
3.
I'll be number 3. I'd throw Nikolaj Coster-Waldau in the mix. Jaime Lannister.
That's another name I saw. Like, that's another one of the people I saw brought up.
He's got the right
Really?
face shape, and especially in later seasons of Game of Thrones, he gets the right, like, grizzled look. while still being, at least looking moderately, noble and regal.
I guess it's just because I haven't seen him in anything else, at least that I remember.
I
I
also
could
haven't seen him
not-
in anything else. I'm just judging it based off of what I've seen 5 seasons.
In terms of acting, it's just like, because I kind of immediately go to what else has this actor been in and what else have they portrayed well? Or have they portrayed something similarly well? I don't know if that would be. I'm sure that he, given time, would be able to do it, but as a secondary hire, I don't know if he'd have enough time to get into the right characterization for Balin. Because Jamie Lannister and Balin Skull are nothing alike. They have like, oh yeah, this
Yeah,
is a knight who's chivalrous, but
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know. I can't explain it. He gives me the right feel.
I mean, I could see it, but I don't know.
he's not the worst option.
This
But I feel
this
like he's
just
not the
makes me
best
want to
either.
segue into like back into the actors we want to see in the Star Wars conversation. It's not what this what this
We'll
one's
have an
about,
episode
but
about that later on. I already have someone cast in my head as Rael Averross. It's okay.
oh, I'm not
Yeah,
thinking
you
like
fucking
specifically.
would, wouldn't you?
I love Rael Averross, okay? That's my man.
I like to see
All right.
Gwendolyn Christian's. Oh wait, she wasn't Star
Oh
Wars.
right.
Sorry.
We should give number ratings. Number ratings are a thing that
Oh,
we
yeah.
usually do.
We do indeed.
Let's go episode 6 and then episode 7, because we didn't give one for 6 either.
Episode 6. Donovan,
I
give
have
it a
my
number.
score.
I give it a solid 7. It's mechanically sound. It's visually sound. It's narratively sound. It works. Nothing special, but that's good in this case. 7 out of 10.
I'm stealing your answer. I think it's about a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, 6 and 3/4 to a 7 for me.
6 and 3/4.
Okay, I'm down to allow halves, but 3/4? Nah.
Just
fuck that
round
shit.
up.
No.
We're rounding
No,
that
no,
up.
no, no, no.
If you pull up the
6.825.
6.9999, I will stab you,
point-
Sonata.
6.722. How about that?
What? Are you dumb? Round it up. It's a 7.
I don't know. It's like the reason why I don't quite put it at 6.5 is just because like it was so technically sound in comparison to some of the other episodes. But then again,
No, we don't.
it's
We
also
don't care
like
about it in comparison to other episodes. We care about it in
Like,
comparison to itself.
everything is in context to justice. Nothing
No.
is in a vacuum.
Yeah, the context is the episode.
Unless the context is the vacuum.
Anyways,
Dyson.
Sonata.
So it looks like I'm gonna be the one who. Well, Marin already broke the mold. 7.5 for me.
Yeah, you
Okay.
would put it
Okay,
there.
okay, we're just gonna call it an average of 7.
Yeah. What
Because
about?
Martini's trying to make math difficult.
It's quarters. We don't have to have an average. We don't have to have a
You can
hyper
ta-
accurate average.
You can take your quarters and put them in your laundry machine.
But I like my quarters. I collect the ones from
Aaron,
different states.
where have you ever seen quarters introduced into a rating system?
Does it look like I care?
I don't know. I can't see you, which is probably good.
Yo!
Right now, I'm just
wait
holding
a
my
minute.
cat. dog.
Wow.
Wait
I'm
a
just holding
minute.
my cat, man.
Catman?
Catman.
I'm just snuggling with my baby boy and my little
Indeed.
man.
That was
Shadow
Owl
West.
Man.
My little guy.
You're a little guy.
Thank you.
Anyhow, yeah, it sounds like the average for episode 6 is 7.
A 7. Can we make the average for episode 7 a 6?
Well,
I don't know, Donovan. Can
that's
we?
what I put it as. I think it's Thrawn being pseudo intellectual. Like, I think it's just as technically sound and all that, but Thrawn being only pseudo intellectual instead of actually smart brought it down a little bit. And unfortunately, that hill being schloobed up and Ezra getting pushed into a rounded object and hitting a flat wall kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. I'm saying 6.
There was also some animations I noticed specifically with Gull in the episode where he was on his little howler that looked a little bit rough. But most of the time the animation on the howlers is good. I also give the episode a 6 for much the same reasons.
I give it a 5.5, I think.
I'm in a similar boat to Justice here.
I think.
All right.
I don't know.
So our average is 5 3/4.
I think
Marin, I swear to God.
Nope, the average is 5.5.
I would have.
Oh my
I'm
fucking
sorry,
god!
Justice.
Go ahead,
Justice
Sonata.
first.
No, go ahead, Sonata.
I would have rated the episode higher if we got to see like Thrawn actually being smart, but it's like what Donovan said, that pseudo intellect really kind of bugged me because apparently Dave Filoni can't pick up a book.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is just the and I mean it's such an explanation to be like, yeah, Thrawn would know Ahsoka even though her name was never given, but it's fucking Thrawn we're talking about.
Yeah.
Thrawn does his research. He's the one guy who does it. He's the one guy who can connect the dots. He's like the one like actual person with more than 2 brain cells in Star Wars, and so it just feels like an. And I guess that's more shots at Dave Filoni writing the episode than like anything actually going on in it. But it's just, I feel like every time I watch something that Dave Filoni does, he just fucking doesn't read anything. He doesn't care about anything that's his, other than his Star
That isn't
Wars and George
his.
Lucas's Star Wars.
I mean, fucking talk to Karen
He's-
Travis about that shit.
Yeah, and it's like, and
Yeah,
then the VFX was like, I don't know, it just. Monk Ezra was cool, but at the same time, even a lot of the like the choreography felt like
The camera
it felt a
angle felt
little
off.
underbaked. Yeah, it was like half cooked, and it was kind of disappointing.
You know, maybe that's the a better way to put how I feel about the actual structure of these fights and animations and all that. It all feels rushed.
Of course it was. All of these are. There's no way that these artists were not hammered by crunch time.
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
they're
especially
Disney. They're Disney. They
Yeah, it's
absolutely
Disney.
are.
especially since they would have known that the strike was brewing.
Yeah.
So, if I may, I'd like to add just a tiny bit
You
of
may not.
speculation. Okay,
Speculate away.
carry on.
Go ahead.
Lay it away.
Okay, so I shared this with Justice, and I want to
Oh.
hear the thoughts of the two of you on it. This was pointed out to me by somebody else. I'm going to put this down for Drive Hour General,
Oh.
assuming it loads, which it probably won't, knowing my luck. But
I mean, you're
if you'll take a
roboting it,
close
so-
look, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It should go through eventually. Let me check a thing. There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
the dog tags.
So, somebody else brought up to me that what Ezra's wearing looks very similar to dog tags. And I'm sitting here wondering, A, if there's any indication that the Empire has dog tags for their troopers. And B, if that is the case, has Ezra been collecting from the troopers he's taken down?
My counterpoint to that is, what point would there be of dog tags when chain code projectors exist?
It's like the entire point of chain codes, so you don't need a physical dog tag like that. At least that was my thought.
I mean, chain code aren't like a military thing though. So
No, but
No,
they were an Empire thing. Is the
Yeah,
thing?
they were empire wide.
I would.
I refuse to believe that the Empire would not make the stormtroopers use chain codes, and at that point, it's just a simple matter of, oh, you're a stormtrooper for Alpha Company 5th Unit. Okay, I'll drag your chain code into a little bucket here in our computer server, and congratulations.
I mean,
Now, whenever we scan you,
it could be the difference between a driver's license and a dog tag in real life, though. So
that's true.
that's kind of my thing. Is like people do not give the chain code much thought in Star Wars. It's essentially like Dave Filoni did
it's just your
in
Star
Bad
Wars social
Batch,
security number.
but and Jon Favreau did when he wrote The Mandalorian, but which is where it came from. But otherwise, most Star Wars doesn't touch on it.
I like the theory. It's just I think it's just scale mail.
I mean, it most likely is just scale mail, but it's a little chilling to think about. Because assuming it's one...
I couldn't... Ezra collects helmets and stuff. I don't think he would collect dog tags and wear them. That seems a little bit sick coming from Ezra.
I mean, maybe it's a little practical. I don't know. It depends what they're made out of, That's free. That's free mail for your fucking chainmail armor,
It is.
It looks like they're Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, this is entirely speculation, and it could be completely wrong. It probably is completely wrong. But just the idea of him having killed enough men, because, like, assuming each one of those individual metal pieces is from a single trooper, we now know why Thrawn has lost so many men.
I'd look at that argument and raise you. I'd wager there are a lot of bandits, because not all of them are going to be aligned with the Empire. There could be... the Howlers seem to be an example of indigenous wildlife. And those look lupine, which implies that they're pack hunters. There's probably something bigger out there. That probably took a chunk out of them. Plus, lack of supplies for several years, both medical and otherwise, also whittles down your numbers. It's just... I don't think it's likely that that Ezra would both be the cause of a vast majority of Thrawn's losses, and Thrawn still not knowing where he was.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing.
And that's a fair point.
They would know.
Also, on that thought, man, I would not want to be on the Chimera during Thrawn's exile.
Oh, yeah, no.
Something tells me we're going to get some form of supplemental material, a book most likely, of what Thrawn had to deal with during his exile. And that will be an interesting... Like, if it is done, it will be an interesting thing to read through.
That would be an interesting book.
It'd be dark as shit, though.
Yeah, well... I'm hoping for some...
And
then again, I haven't read all that much Star Wars, so I couldn't tell you what exactly I'm hoping for. I'm just hoping for better than fucking Thrawn treason. Jesus Christ.
Hey, be nice to treason. Treason wasn't... You think treason's bad? Wait till you get to the next fucking Thrawn series.
Yeah, that's why I'm not reading it.
Yeah, don't. No, I just say maybe Zahn will jump on the train so that Dave Filoni can ignore what he wrote anyways. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm never gonna get to see my boy.
oh yeah, no,
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a joke about this the other day on a Discord server I'm a part of. I wouldn't be surprised if the only recognition Eli Vanto got was a name drop listed as KIA.
I don't even think we'll get that. I
Yeah, I
am
don't think
convinced
we're
that
gonna
Dave
get that,
Filoni has
which-
no idea who Eli Vanto is.
Which is really unfortunate because Eli Vanto is such a cool fucking character. It's the only reason why I'm forcing myself to finish Alliance or Treason. It's got my boy.
No, Treason had my boy in it. Treason had Pelion in it.
I thought you were about to say Ronan, and I was about to punch you through the screen.
Ronan's a funny guy.
I
Ronan
also
is
thought
a
you were
funny
gonna say
guy.
Ronan.
Boy.
But
But yeah, any final thoughts? I feel like we're kind of wrapping up.
yeah, I mean, episodes are all right. I'm interested for the, in the final episode next week, but
Yeah,
I don't
should
know.
be
I hope
intriguing.
it is a satisfactory conclusion to the story set out by the show, and not just meaningless filler to try to get you to watch a movie.
Yeah, nah,
Oh,
the show's
I don't
gonna
think
end
so.
with the Chimera leaving. I think it's just gonna end with everybody making it back to the galaxy, and it's like, oh hey, look, well, we rescued Thrawn, we rescued Ezra. We've wrapped
Yeah,
up
it's
our
like
plot, and then
I
Galactic
feel like it's
Empire
gonna
2.
be. I feel like it's gonna be Thrawn's gonna leave, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, we don't have a way back. There's no way for us to get back." And then Ezra or Ahsoka or both of them is like, "Wait, we have portals now. We're thinking with portals." And then they just use the world between
It's
worlds to get
just,
back.
or they just, I don't know, fly the fucking T6 up there, play some shit on frequency 0, summon the Purgle, and call it a fucking day, like they did on Lothal.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like either one is a viable answer.
Either one's a possible answer. Not necessarily an answer I like, but both are possible.
But yeah.
No.
Final thoughts from me. The episodes were good. It was nice to see my boy in live action, and he be portrayed, for the most part, exactly the way I envisioned him. I just wish that he was actually smart instead of being pseudo-smart.
Yeah. To be fair, we didn't see that much of him so far. We've only seen him a couple times.
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
totally forgot. C-3PO was an episode. Leia got mentioned.
That's
cool.
That's right. 3PO was in this week's episode.
It's
Yeah.
the most unfortunate.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, he didn't have a red arm yet, so I couldn't recognize him.
Wait a minute.
I couldn't recognize him
Yeah.
either. I was wondering what the fuck is this random gold droid doing in here?
But anyways, yeah.
Yep. I think that's peace out time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short
Right.
short episode, I guess.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
not a lot.
I didn't have too much to say.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us really did.
Not a lot
Yeah.
besides, hey, go watch the episodes, and that's kind of, I don't know. Oh my fucking god, I love getting called in the Thank you, Discord, for just throwing that pop-up right fucking, okay, whatever. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well,